Hi, I'm Sue Paton.
And I'm Evonne Englezos.
And we're from Mindstrong Global. Today we're doing a series of videos that are going to talk to you about how your unresolved issues from your past are sabotaging your business and your relationships. And one of the things that we're particularly focusing on in this video is for someone who has really high standards and how that might impact their team or the people that they're working with. So Evonne has an example that she'd like to share with us.
Yep. So I want you to think about if you're a leader, business owner, and you might notice it as frustration with the team not performing the way you want to, or not getting projects completed the way you want, feeling like, hey, this is simple. I feel like this is simple. What I'm asking a person in my team to do is simple. So we notice it as a frustration. But we don't actually notice that until we slow down, that it might be, I feel unappreciated, or I feel like the team's not working to the high standard that I want them to be. So we don't actually realize that the high standard component is what we thrive on. I've got a lot of business owners who are brilliant technicians in what they know. So
Yes.
they are amazing.
And they run successful businesses.
Running successful business in whatever field they choose. They are brilliant, but can often notice feelings of frustration or not knowing how to get the best out of their team. And a lot of this can be linked back to having high standards, but also not knowing that that's a problem, feeling like that's a good thing. That's what's gotten me the results, right? Like that I've gotten so far. So it can come across in the interactions with team that I'm perceived as being bossy, right? Like wanting to tell others how to do things, but then also feeling frustrated when they're not done in a certain way, right?
That's right, yeah.
Then
you feel unappreciated.
Yes, so that's the link, is that feeling like I've got to keep telling people, reminding people, and it can feel like, is this team member actually meant to be here? Do they want this role? And the frustration becomes about that person and their role in the team, not realizing that, because we're great believers of co-creating situations and frustrations. What am I doing in this relationship to contribute?
Yes.
So Sue will talk about that.
So what does having this frustration and these really high standards have to do with what's gone on in your past? What we know, and we know this, through lots of research, that these particular types of people have had usually very critical and controlling parents, or critical or controlling parents. And so they've been very focused on being perfect, having to do things that are perfect. And so they come up with this decision very early on in their life that says, I'll only be okay so long as I get everything perfectly right. And so this then plays into how you relate to your team. And it will play into all of your relationships, not just your business relationships. And pretty much no one can be perfect. No one can live up to that kind of standard. But this is something that you have decided, as I said, very early on in your life. And, we really need to work with that part of ourselves that has that belief or has made that decision that I'll only be okay so long as I do it perfect. So if you're feeling unappreciated with your team and they're experiencing you as being bossy, often what's going on for you is you're thinking, after all I've done for you, I'm telling you how to do things and you're actually not doing it. And you also are thinking, look how hard I'm trying. Now, these would be things that you would have felt when you were younger. So you're feeling unappreciated, but then you feel very unsupported. Yeah. And so what happens is it then plays out with your team, and it'll play out in other relationships where this is a very common feeling. Look how hard I'm trying. And you feel like you're never going to get where you need to go.
So often the business owner and leader is left feeling quite unsupported and fatigued.
Yes.
So you might notice feeling fatigued and frustrated because there's so much you've got to do because others let you down. It's not done to the standard you want. And so it ends up being that you have to work harder because you don't know how to actually get your needs in the team met. You don't know how to actually work through it with them without you just doing it yourself. Right? So your past is impacting how you relate to your team and yourself in the here and now.
Yeah.
So just have a think about that, and we'll bring through a couple more examples of how frustrations or how our past is playing out in our relationships and business here and now.